queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun-kissed goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti. Black girl magic, melanin popping. Whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog. When God made you, boo, you know he showed out. Mahogany enchantress, blessings overflow now. Picture of success, seductive silhouettes on a spiritual quest. Manifest and be blessed. Mother, sister, auntie, tribe of Ashanti. Rocking your locks, I got a close crop blondie. The curse and the gift, uplift, apply pressure. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Nothing like a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. This is a podcast that focuses on mental health and wellness with the focus on Black women. How's everyone doing? My name is Ursula, and I am your podcast host, and I promise to deliver relevant content. This is going to be a short episode. First of all, tell me hello. I see people are already coming in. Tell me where you're checking in from. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me hello. But today is going to be a very, 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 very short episode because my special guest, Nadine Smiley of the Relationship Couch, she is a relationship strategist, but guess what? She lives on the island of Puerto Rico, and they have no power. So she is not able to log on. However, this sister will be back on. We're rescheduling. So she should be on sometime in March, which is next week. So this is a power surge. I'm going to leave you with a few words and a story, and then I'll see you tomorrow with the regular scheduled broadcast. Hey, Bobby, how are you? Thank you for checking in. So, first of all, let me read this quote by Oprah Winfrey. She said, "You get in life what you have the courage to ask for." I was to read that about 5 years ago. I would not have understood what that meant. But, I've done some self inner work and I get it now. So we always hear a lot about being authentic, true to yourself, being true in your relationship. But do you really know what that means? If not, I'm going to give you a short story. So I have been doing a binge on this show on OWN, and it's called Love Goals. So they have a relationship coach, and her name is Spirit. And she has 4 celebrity couples on there, and the couples are at a break in their, or a fork in the road in their relationship. So all three, well, three out of the four stood out, but one couple who really stood out, forgive me, I forgot his name, but he is a retired football player and now he's a rapper. So he still has this pack mentality, having his boys over to the house all the time. And there are a lot of men at the house. Okay. And his wife, she gets really pissed off with him because there's always men around. And she's complaining about, I want the family time. I want family time. I want my time as a wife. I want family time with the kids, but you're always with your boys all the time and you're doing your rapping and all of that. And so she's really pissed off about it. I mean, she's really hurting. And so they had a group therapy session with all four couples, and Spirit was there. Spirit is the coach. And so, yes, babe, balance, absolutely. But I like what you said, Bobby. So we're going to peel back some more layers on that balance. So during the coaching session, Spirit had to go back a little bit and find out, well, let's get to the root of what's really going on. So it was about, that particular episode was about generational trauma. So the football players, his wife, first of all, he is saying that he grew up in the streets and he never had a family. So when he became an NFL football player, his teammates, the coaches, the staff, they were all his family. So he's used to having all the men around all the time. So now he has this beautiful wife and kids, and now he's retired. So he brought that pack mentality with his boys into his home. So he's literally having 10, 8, 5, 2, it doesn't matter. He's having all his friends in the house. And then his wife, she's pretty much holding it down. And the way I interpret it, she was pretty much like the servant, getting the drinks and cleaning up, serving them food, but she's pissed off. But instead of her asking for what she really wants, she in turn puts on that dreaded superwoman cape, especially that black superwoman cape, instead of saying for what she really, really wanted here. Okay. So she doesn't say anything. So now fast forward to the group therapy session. He is saying, this is the husband, that, he didn't have a family. So his boys are his family. Well, then it's the wife's turn to say what's really going on, something deep down. And she tells the group that she is one of, and forgive me, because this has been about a month or so since I watched it, but she had 8 or 11 siblings. I want to say it was 11 siblings, and they all had different fathers. Let that sink in. That's a lot. And all the men came in the house. So, and that's not including the boyfriends in between. And she said she was always embarrassed of that fact, that there were 11 dads and boyfriends. So with that being said, she said that it could either been one of the mom's boyfriends or one of the dads. I know, Bobby, it is deep. And anybody who's listening, if you want to comment, it would be great. Because like I said, this is going to be short power surge until we reschedule Nadine to come back. So she said, this is the wife. She said that, we'll just say it's one of the mom's boyfriends. I can't remember. And he will always strategically set it up so that when the mom was gone out of the house, he would set it up so that he's alone with the girls. And one by one, he sexually assaulted all of them. Now, if you think about it, that is the trigger. Yeah, she didn't like her husband having all his friends around. But that was just a reaction. But the trigger is that she was molested. She was sexually assaulted from, I don't remember, 12 to 16 or 18, something like that. It was not good. I was crying when I was listening to it because you can see the anguish in her face. So every time, which was every day, her husband had these men coming in the house, she went into panic mode and she pretty much suffered from within, but she put that superwoman cape on to cover it up and made it seem like it was about having the men in the house and you're not spending any time with the family. But in reality, she was triggered because of her childhood trauma, right? And having several men around. And so now she's remembering what happened to her and her sisters. So Bobby, you asked, I wonder if she ever had. No, she did not share that with her husband. They had been married, I don't know for how long, but they've been together for a while and married. She did not disclose that until they were sitting on the couch on the show. So her husband found out about it, just like everybody at the same time. So now there's all these aha moments, in the group, and you can see her husband just blinked out. I mean, he was hurt. So now it makes sense. If she would have just took off that superwoman cape and been her authentic self and told what she really wanted. Look, these men in the house, I feel a trigger because I want to protect my daughters because, yeah, these are your friends, but you don't know. But, that's what she's saying. So Bobby said, communication and connection is so key. It absolutely is. So when I say that, I don't want anybody to think that asking for what you want and building that courage, that it's easy. It wasn't for me. Travis, how do you fix something that you don't know is broken? Therapy. Black folks scared of therapy. This is a perfect example right there. So even if she never married this man, she still had a trigger. So it doesn't matter if it was her husband or a boyfriend, she still had a trigger from her childhood trauma. She was raped. So now she's scared for her daughter's lives that they could be raped while she's in the kitchen getting drinks for her husband and the rest of his 18 boys. But it was easier for her to hide behind that shroud, that superwoman cape, and run around the house serving drinks and being pissed off at the same time. So that's my answer. If you see a pattern, how long does one go around with that pattern? Seeing that pattern and doing nothing about it. I'm not saying it's easy. For some, it could be. It wasn't for me, but at what point do you get sick and tired of being sick and tired or triggered in a constant state of trigger? And that's fear, and that's too much. The body cannot handle that. So I'm gonna give you another example. Then they had, let's see, Coolio was on. So Coolio, this one was rough. Coolio with his girlfriend or wife, I don't know who she is, but they are in a partnership. She's upset with him because he goes out and he's a womanizer. He's always cheating. He cannot, he can't communicate. And then when he does, he just stops and he refuses to communicate. Just like Bobby said, communication and connection is key. They had none. But She wanted more. I think he wanted more. He just didn't know how. So again, in that episode, it was about childhood trauma. And so she revealed that she was also sexually assaulted. And she never felt protected. She had an unavailable parent. Well, then look who she is in a partnership with now. Someone who's emotionally unavailable, Coolio. And then Coolio goes way back. I did this was rough for me to listen. He said that when he was younger, all he saw was violence in the home. His father wasn't around, so he emulated the men in the neighborhood. There's that toxic masculinity coming up. That's all the men were doing was having multiple women. So he figured, well, I'll do that too. And he realized that having a lot of women gave him a lot of clout, which kept people and gangs away from fighting. So now he's not even being his true authentic self because he doesn't like to fight, but he's in gangs. He's sleeping with a bunch of women, and now he's 56 and he does not know why. He just cannot stop sleeping with women. And he has this woman here with him who's down. Come to find out, he said the television show bleeped the name out, but it was a woman who sexually assaulted him when he was a child. And they bleeped it out, but the end of the bleep said, and then this is him talking, and then I will go to the bathroom and wash my mouth out. Personally, I think it was his aunt, and she had him eating her out. You go back and watch the show. That's really, it didn't say it, but it blinked it blinked it out, so you couldn't tell. But that's, whoever it was a woman, and they sexually assaulted him and had him performing oral sex on her. Trauma. So he is driven by sex. He claims he doesn't know why, but he probably doesn't, because trauma does that. You disassociate and you're gone. But that goes back to what Travis asked about how do you fix something? You don't know it's broken. Well, if you have a woman and you are literally sleeping with women every day of every week, you're just in it. That's a problem. That's a problem. And that's going to be a topic of another show that I have coming up. So just press pause on that. So my point being, and then another thing with Coolio, because he said he grew up in so much violence and he hated it. It was a trigger for him. So now fast forward in one of the episodes of the show, I think it was Benzino, probably, yeah, he was a hothead on the show. He's getting in an argument and it was so escalated. And everybody is like this, the couples, just all intense looking at it. And here's Coolio. He looked like this. He totally disassociated. He had nothing to say. He wasn't even looking at all of the action going on with the arguments. He literally he froze. He was sleeping with his eyes wide open, if that makes sense. In my opinion, it took him back to all the violence that he witnessed growing up. So his girl never told him that she was sexually assaulted. He never told her that he was sexually assaulted. She is a sex worker. He is working women's sexual body parts. It was just a mess. And, it really made me feel sorry for all of them. So, hold on, Travis. My eyes are so young. D. Ray Davis said he was sexually assaulted by two 30-year-old women when he was 12. And now he's in an open relationship with 2 women. You might be onto something. I can't say because I don't know D-Ray, but I've heard him in an interview. But you know, you never know. I heard an interview he was in. However, I would really love for him to talk to someone who can peel those layers back. It may have something to do with it. You never know. I cannot say. I'm a life coach. I'm not a therapist, but I'm very interested in that. And I am going to spill the beans. That really is going to be one of my upcoming topics, is little boys being sexually assaulted. It can be by a male or female. But what I have learned is that it's someone they know, male or female. It is sad. Yeah. I can go so deep dive in that, but I'll save that for another episode. So back to the original quote, what Oprah said, which is, you get in life what you have the courage to ask for. If you find that difficult, it's okay to go see a counselor, a therapist, or do you continue to live life in a repetitive, toxic hamster wheel? And in turn, hurting other people. You should see Coolio's girl. She was shattered. She cannot understand why she's doing all this for her man, and he just keeps cheating on her repeatedly. It's so sad. So back to the football player and his wife. Once she let out what has happened, now they started to go on a path. They had a lot of work to do, but now they have a solid foundation, because before their foundations were off, it was unbalanced, the opposite of what Bobby said earlier about the balance. It was so unbalanced, but now it was doing like this and starting to level out. So now they have a foundation where they can go forward. And she found that courage to ask and tell what she really had going on, which were her triggers, her childhood trauma. That's all I wanted to leave you with. If y'all have any other questions or comments, put them in now. I know y'all have a habit of sliding up in my DMs after the show, which I appreciate too, but I really, 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 really appreciate it if you do it during. It helps podcasters. I'm finding that out. But Travis and Bobby, thank you for commenting to one of my favorite guys. Anyways, share this live. Let people know it's okay to ask for what they really want. And in turn, be a loving partner and receive what they're saying. It helps. It makes that foundation a lot more level, instead of 2 people literally on the same road and you're going this way. You're not going to come together. You may go like this, but eventually it's going to go apart. And then you'll still be living in the houses together, having babies, getting houses, cars. Find your self-worth and your self-value. Think about it. If you're on a job and you're being overworked, you're highly overqualified, and you're getting paid minimum wage, you know your worth. You will go and talk to your employer like, hey, I need a raise. Right? I would. It's no different in relationships. Or do you just stay when you don't know your worth and you just there? No judgment, just something to think about and look into. So with that being said, I'm logging off. Like I said, I didn't even mean to be on this long, but someone gave me a heart. I don't know who it is, but thank you. So tomorrow, I'm going to have Dr. Natalie Jones. She's a psychotherapist and she specializes in narcissistic abuse. And there's a term called love bombing. It sounds good and it's good in the beginning, but it is horrible because when that bomb goes off, that shit is horrible. It's like a napalm bomb. So check me out tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if anybody is still on, how did you all enjoy the topic with Jasmine? Jet setting Jasmine. She was the triple X adult film star that I had on Monday. Was that hot or what? That was a good episode. She is wonderful. And she's also a therapist. So that was the icing on the cake. Because I know my inbox was popping after that for days. And it still is. People are still enjoying it. And if anyone missed it, just go back one episode back and it's on. All right, I am now logging off. You can meet me over on YouTube or on Facebook. I'm going to watch Celeste the therapist, her and this life coach Jeff. They have the best banter. So I'm going to go and log into their show on their live podcast. And it's Celeste the therapist. All right, you all, good night. Thank you, gentlemen, for commenting. I appreciate you all.